Owning a house has been the defining symbol of the American dream. But in today's environment, the elite are trying to get you to rent the American dream from them forever. So let's dissect this concept, this idea that I'm bringing here to you, and let's maybe see if we agree or disagree with the potential solutions I'm going to provide here. Let's dive right in. Throughout the centuries, people have been used to owning real estate, and today I'm going to talk about the social and economical meaning of owning a house in America, because it does have a good meaning. Owning a house in America has long been considered a cornerstone of the American dream, symbolizing success, stability, and a personal stake in the community. This perception intertwines both social and economic dimensions, each reinforcing the value placed on home ownership. Economically, owning a house has been seen as critical means of wealth accumulation for American families. Over the last 3 decades, the real estate market has experienced significant fluctuation from the steady growth of the 1990s and early 2000s to the dramatic downturn during the 2008, the market meltdown, the financial crisis, followed by a recovery and unprecedented growth during the late 2010s and early 2020s. The home remains one of the largest components of net worth. According to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, the median net worth of homeowners has been significantly higher than, illustrating the critical role of home equity in family wealth. Let's talk now from social perspective. Socially, home ownership is imbued with values of independence, community, engagement, and sense of belonging. It fosters a stronger community ties and encourages civic participation, as homeowners have a vested interest in the welfare of their neighborhoods. This social capital, in turn, supports a more cohesive society. Moreover, homeownership has been linked to positive outcomes in education and health, a tribute to the stability and sense of control it offers. However, the pursuit and realization of home ownership in America are not without challenges. The housing market dynamics have increasingly put home ownership out of reach for certain segments of population. The affordability crisis, influenced by rising home prices, stagnant wages, and tight lending standards, has made it difficult for many, particularly younger generations and minority groups, to own homes. The home ownership rate among these demographics lags behind that of the counterparts, reflecting in a broader economic disparities. Furthermore, the economic benefits of home ownership are not guaranteed. The 2008 financial crisis underscored the risk associated with real estate investments and the potential for devastating losses. The crisis led to a reevaluation of home ownership's role in the American economy and its perceived status as a safe investment. In summary, over the past 3 decades of home ownership in America has retained its esteemed position as a key component of the American dream, embodying both economic prosperity and social well-being. However, evolving economic realities and social challenges have highlighted the complexities of institution, prompting ongoing debates about its future role in American society. Let's look into second point. Why big pocket corporations are killing the American dream? And what is Blackstone? What is that? Before 2010, large institutional investors mostly overlooked single-family home rental. They didn't like this type of homes or this type of homes. And they were influenced more about multifamily properties that are easier to scale. However, this trend shifted following the financial crisis that significant change since 2019. Big institutions like JP Morgan Asset Management, Blackstone, and Goldman Sachs Asset Management have played an instrumental role in financing an industry comprised over 20 single-family home rental companies. These companies are actively acquiring existing properties and also engaging in the construction of new ones. So big corporations epitomized by giants like BlackRock are increasingly seen as the culprits in undermining the American dream, the quintessential belief that anyone, regardless of where they come from, can achieve their version of success in a society where upward mobility is possible through hard work and determination. However, the vast accumulation of wealth and influence in the hands of a few sprawling corporations has skewed economic and political landscapes, leading to a concentration of power that stifles competition, innovation, and equal opportunities. BlackRock, as the world's largest asset manager, wielding over 10 trillion in assets under management as of my last update, epitomizes this trend. Its significant investment across a wide range of sectors afforded unprecedented sway over market dynamics and corporate governance. Critics argue that such entities can manipulate markets, influence corporate policies in a way that prioritizes shareholder profits over broader societal benefits and exacerbate economic inequalities. But what is BlackRock? Who is BlackRock? So I went to Wikipedia and says BlackRock Inc. is an American multinational investment company. It is the world's largest asset manager with 10 trillion in assets under management as of December 31st of 2023. Headquarters are in New York City. BlackRock has 78 offices in 38 countries and clients in 100 countries. BlackRock is the manager of the iShares group of exchange-traded funds, and along with the Vanguard Group and State Street, it is considered to be one of the big three index fund managers. Okay, this explains a lot of the things. They are throwing a lot of money into the system so they can see the benefit and buy whatever they want to buy. But okay, so what can we already told you the history, already told you that like the big players that are kind of ruining the market a little bit. So what can we do as realtors, as buyers, as institutions to stop these giants from taking away the American dream? Whether it's this size or this size, it doesn't matter. So a way to say what to expect moving forward and how, let's pretend, a single mom of 1 or 2 kids can fight against these giants. How can a millennial buy his or her first house with a minimum down payment or down payment assistance? Maybe states should enact legislation that protects first-time home buyers. According to www.worldwideerc.org, Governor Ron DeSantis signed an SB 264 into law, which imposes significant restrictions on property ownership for individuals and entities originating from select countries of concern, including China, Cuba, North Korea, and Russia. The law generally prohibits property acquisition by individuals or entities from these countries, but includes certain exceptions. Maybe there should be a new law that prohibits private, local, and international investors from acquiring real estate that is dedicated to first-time home buyers, single parents, downsizing seniors on a fixed income, people with disabilities, and minority groups. So, to fix these challenges and ensure that the dream of home ownership remains within reach for these groups, states across the United States should be exploring new ideas and strategies. Here's how they can reorient the housing market to serve the needs of this critical population, implementing taxation strategies. One approach is that to imposition of additional taxes on institutional investors purchasing single-family homes. States could levy higher property taxes or introduce transaction taxes specifically targeting bulk purchases of residential properties. The revenue generated from these taxes could fund affordable housing initiatives or provide subsidies to the target groups to aid in the purchase of homes. Another thing could be enacting purchase limits. States can enact legislation to limit the number of properties that a single entity can purchase within a specific time frame or area. By restricting bulk purchases, this measure will help prevent the availability of single-family homes for individual buyers, specifically in markets that are particularly attractive to investors. Maybe we should also prioritize first-time home buyers, right? This is a vulnerable group. This should probably implement programs that give priority access to first-time home buyers, single parents, senior downsizing, people with disabilities, and minorities. That could be very effective. This could take the form of exclusive buying periods during which only applications from these groups are considered for certain number of days after property is listed. Another way we can solve this problem is expanding financial assistance programs to make home ownership more accessible. States can expand existing financial assistance programs or introduce new ones. These could include down payment assistance, subsidized mortgages, or tax credits specifically tailored for the targeted groups. By reducing the financial burden, these programs could level the playing field against cash-rich investors that are overtaking a lot of the inventory. Maybe we need to strengthen the protection. So as you can see, there is a series of things that people in the states could be doing to protect buyers. And the examples I brought right here are merely examples. Nothing here says that there is some kind of a law or something that's going to be signed in the future. None of those things are actually existing right here, right now. So we have a lot to do, a lot of work to do as a real estate professionals, mortgage lenders, estates, and different institutions to make sure that we can actually fight against these big institutions that have a lot more money than our first-time home buyers. So that's it on today. So thank you very much. This is Robert Garcia, a member of the Capital Crest group of Long & Foster. If you are really thinking about making a move to the state of Maryland, DC, or Virginia and would like to have a consultation, feel free to click on the link below to set up an appointment, a video appointment with me. We can do a telephone appointment, that's fine, so that we can start talking about your next move. And if you want to sell in the area, feel free to also take advantage of my complimentary market analysis so you know how much your house is worth in today's market. Do me a big favor, smash that like button, and if you love these type of videos and want to hear more about this stuff, go ahead and subscribe, because I promise every week I'll deliver something very rich about real estate. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye-bye.